With a group of patients in Guernsey taking a so-called miracle cure, which claims to banish everything from autism, Parkinson's disease, HIV and cancer. Now, very often the people behind these unlicensed drugs are camera shy, but not so the head of Immunobiotech Limited. He was only too happy to speak to us. Well, sort of.
I've been investigating a so-called wonder drug that's claimed to cure everything from autism to cancer. In fact, it's actually unproven, unlicensed and potentially contaminated. And the man behind First Immune GC-MAF, David Noakes, has agreed to meet me. Do you stand by the 80% of cancer sufferers are cancer-free after a year if they've not had any chemo but they've taken your GC-MAF?
Yes, absolutely.
How about autism? 85% of autistic people improving?
Improving, yes. In the clinics, 60% are going back to normal school. But
and how old are these people? What's the age range?
Typically up to 12.
So children?
Yes.
Children are having this product?
Yes.
How can anyone have faith in a company that's been raided by a medical regulator and found to be using potentially contaminated products?
That's just another lie. 9,000 patients have taken it without side effects, without contamination, and with perfect sterility.
You've got no medical training, and yet you're offering advice, clinical advice to patients who are very sick. You're advising them.
Hang on, we have 4 scientists and 7 doctors.
You personally are advising people how to inject, what dose to take. You're suggesting that they don't
we have
take their
a huge amount of
chemotherapy.
Experience in dosage.
Do you give clinical advice to cancer patients?
No.
Have you ever told...
It's not the point. I'm the CEO.
No, it is a point.
No.
There is a point here. You qualify and get a GMC licence registration for a reason to allow you to give clinical advice to a patient. Have you been advising patients on dosage
well, over
and
5
how
years,
to inject?
have I? Probably yes.
It is the right of patients
I'll get into trouble.
not to be exploited in the way that your company seems to be.
No, I'll carry on. Exploitation is what is done by the cancer industry. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Please do.
Right. In the cancer industry, when you see a cancer doctor, they tell you 2 lies. First, you'll be dead in X months if you don't take chemotherapy. And second, chemotherapy is the only option. Those are the 2 lies they always tell you. GC-MAF is the only product that will get rid of pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic cancer is a really nasty disease. It's deadly.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, that's quite a claim.
Yeah. Sorry, we've done it too many times not to claim it.
Would you say that you're exploiting some of the most vulnerable members of society, people with life-threatening cancers?
We do the opposite.
You're not exploiting some of society's most vulnerable.
I think that was a horrible interview, and frankly, I'd like to scrub the whole thing. I don't think you gave me a chance.
I'm putting forward to you what has been asked.
I don't want it to go out. I would like the tape, please.
I'm afraid we obviously
no, I'll smash up the camera.
Excuse me.
No,
take your hands off the equipment, please.
No.
Take your hands
David Noakes is clearly passionate about his product, but his company's bank accounts have been frozen, and the regulator, the MHRA, says Immunobiotech Limited is now the subject of an ongoing criminal investigation.
Well, Dr. Salia Hassan and from the Institute of Cancer Research, Professor Kevin Harrington join us now. Salia, obviously a very tense situation there with David Noakes. But what advice have you had then from the medicine regulator about this drug?
Well, the bottom line is, don't buy medicines off the internet. You don't know where they've come from, you don't know who's made them, you don't know what conditions they've been made in, you won't know about dosage. And, you know, if you are going to go that way, really do engage with your conventional, traditional doctor, the healthcare providers that you're with, really don't stray off it. Use common sense.
And coming from a research point of view, I mean, we heard from some people that are on the drug. I mean, obviously David Noakes believes passionately, and some of those people were saying, in the time that they've got left, if it works for them, it's their last chance. Why not use it? I mean, what is your experience of those that have used it?
Well, I've certainly never prescribed this drug, and I've certainly never supervised anyone receiving this drug, but I've looked after a number of people who, when standard treatment options have been exhausted, they have actually looked on the internet, they've found GC-MAF, and they've actually gone and received that treatment. In particular, I'm thinking of one or two patients, one individual particularly who spent a great deal of time, effort and money travelling abroad to receive this therapy, ultimately for no benefit at all.
Okay. Is there any scientific foundation at all, in your opinion, to this drug?
Well, in the development of new cancer treatments, we have to base this on very sound evidence. And of course, when my patients were talking to me about wanting to receive such a treatment, I examined that because this is an unlicensed, unregulated product. And unfortunately, I found no scientific basis for the development of this drug, or indeed for the claims that are made that this drug not only can cure cancer, but can treat other diseases, a whole range of disease. And of course, it sounds too good to be true. And of course, if such a treatment really did exist, you'd expect legitimately that the evidence would be presented in journals, it would be subjected to scrutiny by peers, and it would be evaluated by regulatory bodies. And unfortunately, none of those things has been done with this agent.
Okay, but there is some very good news as far as your research is concerned.
Yeah. I think this is a fantastic time for developing new cancer treatments.
Yeah.
Specifically in the area of immunotherapy, we've, based on really very sound basic science, with careful translation into clinical trials conducted in a really carefully controlled way, we've been able to demonstrate that new treatments are both safe and extremely effective, and in some patients can lead to very dramatic remissions of their disease.
And some breakthroughs as well. I mean, there was this blood test that was out, it was in the news, wasn't it, just yesterday, about being able to trace, was it?
The ovarian cancer, yes.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's a very exciting time to be working in the field of cancer research.
Thank you to you both for coming in. Thanks. Well, the wait is over, we've heard. She starred in Into the Woods, The Twilight Saga, and is soon to hit the big screen with Pitch Perfect 2.
Fellas are suspended. You're being replaced by the European champions. If we win the World Championships, will you reinstate us?
If you win it.
Where's Chica?